It's Ben here with another Market Watch report for all of Wynnewood for the month of June. And before we get started with checking out the homes, and there was actually a lot of action. I think this Market Watch has like 60 homes. I did want to touch on what's been going on with the real estate market. If you follow real estate nationally, I'm sure you've heard some crazy headlines. Uh, the market is normalizing, and we are definitely in a transitional period right now. Nationally, I think it's worse, at least in other pockets, but Lower Merion, we're kind of, unique, I guess, when it comes to real estate stuff. Philly has been affected more than us, but we're not seeing like a drop in home prices. It's just we're seeing like a flat line, and right now it's just more important than ever to have your list price dialed in. So in the spring, what would happen is you put a decent price on, and within 4 days, it would be under contract. You would have multiple offers. People probably waiting inspections, this and that. We aren't seeing quite as many offers. Uh, Partially, the summer, just buyers have stuff to do. People go on vacation. Also, the mortgage rates now are over 6%. So that definitely has priced some buyers out of what they were previously looking at. So some people are like readjusting and whatnot. And depending on who you ask, you will hear that it's a good time to buy. Then you'll hear it's not a good time to buy. You'll hear it's still a good time to list. And then you'll hear it's a bad time to list. And it's like there's data to prove every point. So it just depends what you want to do, right? You hopefully have a realtor that that you can have an honest conversation with. If you don't, I'd love to be a resource. I don't try to, I just try to tell it like it is, I guess. And I'm going to show some data real quick. Again, this is just like one data thing, but yeah, it's like the long and short of it is rates have risen. So buyers now have less buying power, which means sellers have to lower the price. That's what the whole point of that is. But then also there's less competition for buyers. So that's kind of good. And then also if the rates go higher in the fall, then buyers should want to buy now. And for sellers, you're not getting those crazy offers, but you're still getting good offers as long as you price it accordingly. And then again, if in the fall the rates go even higher, then you're going to have to list even lower. So depending on how you look at it, it's still a good time to buy, but it's also not a good time to buy. It just depends how you look on it. I'm going to quit saying that. Anyway, sharing the screen, going to show you the data real quick that I think is just like important to keep in mind. A lot of people, they think of the '08 stuff would happen, and that was nuts. This is not that situation. So MSI, this is the data point I want to focus on. It shows how many months it would take for the current inventory of homes on the market to sell, given the current pace of home sales. And 6 months is a balanced market. Anything less than that is a seller's market. Anything higher is a buyer's market, right? So the lower number, the stronger of a seller market it is. So going back to May 2021, we can see that it has been firmly a seller's market, like obviously. And again, this is for all of Lower Merion. So it's kind of been mostly in the ones. In December, which was, man, if you were a buyer in December, there was just no inventory. That was a brutal time. That got down to 0.9. And then it's kind of been going up. So it hasn't. And then last month, May was 2.3. This month, June, it's 1.4. So it's not, that number was like at 4 or 5. Then it's like, okay, the market clearly has shifted. It's starting to be more of a buyer's market. It hasn't shifted yet. As long as your home is priced pretty well, is in pretty good condition, on a pretty good location, it's still going to sell and get interest, just because in Lower Merion, people want to move here. And so, yeah, just like hopefully people can keep that in mind. All right, so in Wynnewood, there was a whole lot of activity. So a lot of these homes were from the spring when the market, it's always busier in the spring. So a lot of them have been closing. Keep in mind that a lot of these ones that are closing were when that market was like very, very seller strong. So we're still seeing, crazy over asking this and that. How much longer we'll be seeing that, I don't know. And then as you can see, like if you take a look right now, all these homes are active. And if you have been following this, there haven't been that many rows of homes that are active. And so one of the adjustments we are seeing is that homes now have longer days on market. Before, honestly, it would just be like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boom, it's gone Monday. That still happens, but not always. And, right now sellers have to really lock in their their list price, because if they're not, where they should be, then it might sit. Or they might get offers that they, still think like, oh, well, my neighbor down the street got this 2 months ago. It was a different market 2 months ago. So everyone's kind of adjusting right now. I'm not going to go through the pendings or the actives just because there's too many homes. And I'm just going to try to fly through the closed 1405 Hillside. So again, this you have access to in the bottom of that email. I highly suggest you go through these homes. Some of them are absolutely gorgeous. This is one of them. That home sold 23% above asking. That's a little, that's a lot. But again, that's we've seen a lot of that in the spring. So it ended up getting 1575. It was listed for 1275. Warwick Road, that was, a tough location, like right there on Remington. So that ended up going 2.8% below asking, and that was for 870. That lasted 23 days on the market, which is not that's 3 weeks, but we've been conditioned to think that's a long time. 1241 Morris Road, this one was interesting. So it was on the market for 165, then they did a price drop, then they did another price drop, then it ended up getting 16. Yeah. 1457 Braddock 405, that was 6.6% above asking. And it's funny that I almost said only 6.6%, because that's still a significant amount above asking, just not in this market. But we might have to start recalibrating that, because again, we might not be seeing those 20+% over askings, unless a home is not really, really nice and they priced it pretty low. 1461 Hampstead, that got 9.3% above asking for 425. Graythorn, this one actually was below. It was 11% at 577. A lot of homes. 252 Henley. You're going to see Henley all over the place. So that was 9% above asking. That was on the market for a day at 388. 40 Overbrook Parkway. This one got 775. That was 10% above asking on a somewhat busy street. And it was only on the market for 2 days. So what was happening in the spring was people were doing these grand slam offers, and they were like, hey, this offer is valid for a day only. If you don't take it now, it might not be on the table. And sometimes the buyers ended up offering less afterwards. So there was a couple homes that people, you're like, hey, everyone get your highest and best in by Sunday. We're good. But then sellers would get an amazing offer and they're like, hey, sorry. 315 Farwood, that one ended up at 750. So that you'll probably see, that was 2 lots. And so you'll probably see another home there, I don't know, by the end of the year, maybe. 140 Henley, that was 10% above asking, 812. That was a sharp looking home. This one was 29% above asking at 2.4. So it was listed at 185, and then it ended up getting 2.4. Amazing, simply amazing. I don't know if we're going to see that anymore. We might, but I don't know. Twin Oaks for 585. That was 17% above asking. And again, I encourage you to go through these pictures. A lot of these homes look really nice. 139 Henley for 750. That was 11% above asking. So yeah, that area is now, we've seen a bunch of homes in the 7s now, even 8s. 102 Rockland Road for 585. Again, that was 17% above asking. Yarmouth for 638. That was a little below asking. Valley Tour. So this one, this is how strong the spring market was, right? So in October, it was listed for 950. They had to do a price drop to 900. It didn't sell. They took it off. They put it back on in the spring for 950, and they ended up getting 113. That was a spring for you. It is a little different now. 228 Cross Hill. That was 12% above asking for 537. Indian Creek for 809. That was slightly above asking. What do we got? Periwinkle for 1.3. That was 10% above asking. Right there in Indian Creek. 1506 Remington for 840. That was below asking. I mean, that was a big house, like 5 bed, 3,400 square feet. So yeah. Here's another one on Henley for 357, and that was 2% above asking. So I'm going to try to go faster. Owen Road, 702, that was 10% above asking. Rosedale, that just closed today. I'm doing this on the last day of the month. And that was for 700K. That was above asking. And yeah, that was May. Edville was just about 470. That was a touch below asking. This one, 222 Hemlock, new construction for a little over 2. 22 Overbrook Parkway. This one was 427. And a couple more. 601 Ferriston, that was 11% above asking for 780. 9 Rolling Road. This one was 25% below asking for 410. And then Windmere, this one it's pending for 146. I don't know why it's down there. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So that's what we got. Still seeing homes for well over asking. It'll be interesting next month because I don't think we're going to quite see that many. But yeah, the market has shifted, not drastically so, like some of those national headlines might have you believe. So you just really have to pay more attention now. And then again, like if you're trying to move, it's not necessarily a bad time, depending on what your needs are, either to buy or sell. So just, it's worth having a conversation with. Just, some people are on the sidelines because of all the stuff they're hearing. You might not need to be. All right, that's all I have. Have a great 4th of July weekend. Actually, you'll probably see this after 4th of July. Just realizing that now. But all right. See you next time.